Coming up next on SportsCenter, it's the great one, and he goes for the big one. The Magic one back to the Forum, although this time he's been benched. Isiah's helping hands land him in the record books, while this kid has had enough of the books. Shaq and the mailman go to school. Just exactly who's the teacher and who's the pupil? Scotty instructs the Sixers, while Joe Carter learns a painful lesson. The backstroke, the newest way to catch a baseball. And while disco is out, SportsCenter is always in. Next. Actually, disco might have been insulted by that. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to the program. Thanks for inviting us over. Steve Levy, Carl Ravitch. The great one already thought of as the greatest rink rat to ever lace them up. One goal away from having the numbers on the back of his hockey card do back it up.
He is a rat with a knack for setting records, already with 60 to his name. It just may be there's only one athlete in Los Angeles who could take the headlines away from Magic Johnson, Wayne Gretzky. And what's the big deal? He's put the puck in the net before 801 times, so what's one more? Well, it's history. It's about Gordy and the Great One. It's about passing his boyhood idol. It's about doing something most never thought possible. Wayne looks for number 802. First period, Canuck keep him in check. They keep him in tow. Jyrke Lume won't let him get anywhere. Gretzky, no first period shot. Zip, zip after one. His parents, his wife, his agent, everyone there waiting for the big moment that would come with 5:13 left in period two.
What a tie with Gretzky trailing. Gretzky looking. Gary Curry, McSorley to Gretzky. Scores! He did it! He did it! The greatest goal scorer in National Hockey League history is Wayne Gretzky.
Kirk McLean now becomes a Trivial Pursuit answer. Hanks marked short there, and how sweet it is. How sweet it is for the fans at the Forum. His teammates come out and congratulate him. As you take another look at it, the tail end of a power play. For about a minute, they struggled. Finally, his old teammate McSorley finds him on the wing, and all he has to do is tip it into the net. Back in Edmonton, meanwhile, Gretzky gets a standing ovation from the fans that he played and starred for in front of for 9 years. In L.A., the great one stands alone, as he does in the world of hockey. Despite his heroics, the Canucks do win the game. A number of ironies come along with the record. The goaltending coach for the Canucks, Glenn Hanlon, the man Gretzky scored his first career goal against. As for the teams, well, the great one is gunned down. The Canucks now tied for second with the Flames franchises. And look, he used to light up the team he plays for. Pretty good as well. Just one of the 802 reasons Bruce McNall went out and brought Wayne's World to the West Coast.
That was the first time where, after a record, I almost broke down a little bit. I think that all the other ones I've been so excited and so pleased that my energy level was so high. And tonight, the excitement and the emotion and the relief and all the pressure that goes with it, it's been a tough time trying to get to this point. So tonight, I almost broke down a little bit, but I feel very fortunate.
And the game-winning goal, the game record-setting goal, seen live on ESPN, carried on ESPN2. How sweet was the record? If you're Gordie Howe, it could use a little equal, little NutraSweet. Howe was invited to attend but didn't. The two did speak by phone earlier on Wednesday. Gordie believes the 802 isn't a record, that the 174 goals he scored in the WHA should be included, which would raise Howe's total to 975. Steve?
Well, the Los Angeles Lakers have 18 games remaining. They are 5.5 games behind Denver in the race for the final Western Conference playoff spot. Enter Earvin Magic Johnson, the new head coach of his beloved Lakers. When asked if he could still get L.A. into the postseason, a place they've been for 17 straight seasons, Magic posted up and played it straight, saying Denver would have to go on a hell of a losing streak, and we'd have to go on a hell of a winning streak. Johnson rarely experienced disappointment in uniform. What about the possibility of failure in a jacket and a tie?
I'm not worried about it because there's already a lot of bad coaches, so I just joined the rest of them, that's all.
This is not a sideshow. This is something that we hope will help our ball club and particularly our younger players.
But Magic says he may not continue even past this season.
Well, that makes little or no difference because it gives him an opportunity to see as something he would really want to continue.
Win or lose, I guarantee you they will be better players at the end of this season. I guarantee you that. I have no doubt in my mind.
Magic will take over starting practice on Friday. Bill Burkner running the Lakers show for the next 2 games beginning in Dallas. Doug Smith from the back end of that pass from Jamal Mashburn. Back end of that pass from Fat Lever. Career high 36 for Smith. Lakers looking for a sign. The sign would be go to Nick Van Exel. Down 6 late. His 6th 3 of the game cuts it to 3. Then down 1 off the scramble. Van Exel, the Tony Smith for the lay-in and a 1-point Laker lead. Lakers up 3. Tim Legler for the tie. Not this time. Bill Burtker, a winner. 112-109. The Lakers get it done. George Lynch said we wanted to get a win for Coach Burtka. We also wanted to perform knowing Magic was watching us on TV at home. The coaching change already paying off. Carl?
More basketball a little later. Now baseball, and the man who hit the shot heard around the world, Joe Carter, wasn't doing any hitting Wednesday. Instead, he was being hit by a Scott Erickson pitch. And while last October's shot won a series, this one could cost Carter up to 8 weeks. Happened in the 4th inning of the game of the Twins. Looked like it wasn't too serious, but X-rays showed a fracture just at the upper knuckle. A splint, 4 weeks, the only thing that will help, then 4 more to completely recover. Cito Gaston was furious. He thought it was intentional.
Jimmy and Jerry, if they keep this up, you can just imagine the unavoidable comparisons to that other tandem of Tanya and Nancy. You know, you're in good company when no last name is necessary for identification purposes. So with that in mind, here's just plain Chris with the latest on an NFL owner's relationship with his coach.
Hey, Jerry. All this over a 2-point conversion?
Hardly. All this because Cowboys coach Jimmy Johnson abruptly left the owners' meetings and was notably absent from the morning coach's breakfast and photo. Johnson told the Dallas Morning News he was reassessing his future with the Cowboys following comments Jones made late Monday night suggesting he might fire his coach.
The night before, on an off-the-record basis, I basically, which is something that I do quite often, tossed a lot of things around regarding the Cowboys, the league, the NFL, and that was one of them, but that wasn't given any serious consideration on my part.
What may have gotten Johnson's craw was that Jones even mentioned a possible successor, Barry Switzer, a rival from Jimmy's college days at Oklahoma State. Jerry's comments stem from an instance earlier Monday evening at an NFL function at Pleasure Island.
I proposed a toast to about a group of 5 or 6 people, 5 of which had Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl rings, to kind of toast job well done. That was about it. And for my own reason, I just wasn't satisfied with the toast and decided to toast someplace else.
When they were sort of unresponsive, although attentive to Jerry, he became angered and uttered a profanity and turned on his heels and left.
Johnson was sitting with some old associates, then personnel director Bob Ackles, now with the Cardinals, and his 2 ex-coordinators, Norv Turner and Dave Wanstadt.
I think a lot's been made out of very little, and Jimmy and Jerry have their way of operating, and it's not a whole lot different than what usually goes on.
I think everything is just blown out of proportion, and I don't think there's really anything there.
The 2 principals didn't talk Wednesday, but they did speak Tuesday, shortly before Johnson decided to leave.
When I visited with Jimmy, I stepped out of a meeting real quick. It wasn't a long meeting. He just basically said, I've heard some rumors, and I said, you're still the coach of the Cowboys. Talked about the circumstances very briefly and went on, and I'm not that concerned about it.
Did you get a feeling that he was concerned yesterday?
Basically, initially, because there'd been a lot of rumors and a lot of innuendos. Certainly, to the extent that he was concerned, I certainly said to him that he's certainly the coach of the Cowboys.
Jimmy Johnson was on his boat off the shores of Miami on Wednesday, clearly doing a lot of thinking. Longtime observers of the Cowboys point out this is the first time that the rift between the two has gone public. And frankly, Fred Edelstein, Jimmy Johnson's hurt here.
Well, Chris, that may be, but the bottom line here is that Jerry Jones is not going to fire Jimmy Johnson. Jerry has a saying, he never lets his money get mad. Jerry understands that the value in his Cowboys is in Jimmy Johnson, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith. Those are the 3 indispensable parts. Now, Jimmy Johnson is not going to quit because he understands that under NFL rules, he has 5 years left on his contract. He knows that Jerry Jones can effectively stop him from being a head coach in the National Football League until 1999. So I suspect, Chris, that the Jerry and Jimmy show will be picked up for another season with more drama to come.
Uneasy is the head that wears the crown. That was true at the owners' meeting here in Orlando. Let's kick it back to SportsCenter.
All right, guys, and thanks. A couple of other NFL notes to pass along. One Eagle who is not joining Buddy in Arizona is the Fridge, William Perry, who signed 2 one-year contracts to stay on in Philly. Colts quarterback Jeff George on his way out of Indy. The Indianapolis Star is reporting that Colts VP Bill Tobin says the team will trade George. The Falcons appear to be on the receiving end of this pass. The two clubs have been talking since Sunday. Carl?
The Utah Jazz left home last week with one of the best road records in the league. 4 games, 4 losses later, they were below 500. Happy to be jetting back to the Delta Center, hosting the Magic, who, despite losing their last 2 away from home, are 1 shy of setting a club record for road wins. They've got 14 coming in. This is Stockton for 3, and he had 22. Tied 44 at the half. And it's Shaq and the mailman. And Shaq says, Carl, would you get that shot out of here? Dennis Scott just spots up for 3. Dennis Scott will miss, but look what Shaq does. The follow and the flush, he had 19. 4th quarter, Jazz rally. Stockton 12 assists, the mailman 27 points. Jazz down 1. And the Orlando guards take over. First Penny for 2 of his 21. Then Skiles, 2 of his 9 4th quarter points. He played 22 minutes. Nick Anderson adds 10. Magic win. While the guards were gunning, the big fellow was asked about an elbow he threw at Corbin. He said, I just have to let people know they can't grab me all night. My name is Shaq, not Tree. Game 2 of a 6-game road trip for the Clippers in Detroit. And Isiah looks for assist 9,000. Cadillac Anderson, the man to receive it. Isiah honored. Phil Davidson, the owner of the Pistons, out to congratulate him. And then from the old to the new we go. Dumar's out with the flu. Lindsey Hunter fades away. Can't block it when you fade it for 19. Terry Mills adds 21 and 14. We're all fired up. Pistons by 4. Their bench beat up on the Clippers. 53-23. Season high 12 for Chilcott. Season high 9 for Charles Jones. Hunter had 13 assists, but it was Isiah making history. As for the 9,000, maybe Isiah said it's nice because achievements like this mean that I never have to hear that I didn't live up to my potential. Of the other 3 to reach 9,000, Steve, only 1 has gone on to coach.
Jason Kidd can only hope to have a pro career that equals that of Isiah Thomas, but he's on his way. The college standout announcing he was bolting Cal after just 2 years for the big bucks and bright lights of the NBA. The word coming down on the kid's 21st birthday. He is a sure lottery pick, and to sort of tie things up into a nice, neat package, we went from Magic to Isiah to Kidd. Jason said if he had the choice, he would like to play for Coach Johnson and the Lakers next season.
Who wouldn't be a bad teacher. Jason's team is already out, but there was action from the college hardcourt. Vandy, Billy McCaffrey find the Tigers in their layup. We're going to look ahead to the surefire player of the year and what faces KU as they face the big dog, and we're about to stare an NBA fantastic finish in the face. Yes, the Pacers did score more than 61.
Here comes a whole new taste breakthrough. It's got less fat and better taste for you. It's not a trip off the same old block. That's right. Got new Pringles right crisp. That's right. Less fat and better taste than this. Right. Better taste than less. Grease the proofs right here you see. That's right. It's not a chip off the same old block. Pringles right crisp. The taste box here.
Hey, there's that cool recliner.
Come on, ski jumping.
Oh, the recliner, come on.
Hey, how about both?
Miller Lite presents Recliner Ski Jump.
No way.
Boy, Johnson's ready. He's been training for this for years, Bob. Watch this layback. Brought to you by Miller Lite. If you can combine great taste with less filling, you can combine anything. He's got the record and the light.
What a cheer.
What a beer.
Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this?
Hoosier fans, there's nothing like the tradition and glory of Indiana basketball.
Let's play 20 minutes of basketball our way.
Now, you can relive all of IU's greatest moments in Hoosiers Hoops, a fantastic new video from Sports Illustrated. Plus, you'll also get an authentic Indiana team hat. And best of all, both gifts are absolutely free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated.
Indiana wins it.
Hoosiers Hoops captures the most memorable moments in IU basketball history.
Indiana wins the championship.
From Branch to Bobby, you'll see all of IU's championships like you've never seen them before. Call now and get Hoosiers Hoops.
plus your Indiana team hat, along with 54 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the swimsuit issue, for only $1.39 an issue. Save over 52% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Nobody plays basketball like the Hoosiers, and there's nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Toyota, who invite you to check out their full line of quality trucks. You just gotta love them. And by Office Depot, taking care of business with guaranteed low prices on thousands of brand name office supplies.
Quarterfinal action from the NIT, Vanderbilt and Clemson from Nashville. Senior Billy McCaffrey, last home game at Vanderbilt. He got started early. The bad pass, McCaffrey picks it off. A loose ball, rolls it off the fingertips. He had 27. The star transfer from Duke showing he can hit the three. Gets it done. The contact, not a problem. He was 4 for 5 from three-point land. For Clemson's head coach Cliff Ellis, his last game for the Tigers, takes one last jab at a referee, and why not? Vanderbilt wins it 89-74. Providence Rick Barnes, as you know, will take over the Clemson program. While Vandy's headed to the Garden for the NIT's Final Four, McCaffrey 20 of his 27 coming in the first half. Villanova advances on as well. Eric Eber's a jumper with 25 seconds left. Kerry Kittle's couple of free throws with 5 seconds left to seal it. Freshman Jason Lawson, the all-around effort. Well, there will be some big-time boogieing at a certain Sweet 16 that will crank up on Thursday night. Only 5 of the teams still dancing were alive at this point last season. For a look at the 2 regions that will tip it all off, we begin in the Southeast with Steve Cyphers.
With an impromptu jam session, second-seeded Duke gave the fans something to cheer about at Wednesday's practice. Now, for some, it was a first look at the Blue Devils. But Marquette coach Kevin O'Neill has already seen enough, especially of Grant Hill.
The only thing he can't do is throw it off the top of the arena here on one bounce over the backboard, back through for, the bottom line with Grant Hill is he makes and is willing to make everybody on his team better.
O'Neill is the youngest and least experienced of the 4 coaches here. Mike Krzyzewski, Gene Cady, and Roy Williams combined for more than 950 wins. But O'Neill may be the most popular in Knoxville because the talk is growing louder that he'll succeed Wade Houston as the Tennessee coach.
I'm flattered by any of the articles. I've been flattered by any of the things that have been said or speculated, but that's a reflection of what we've done as a program, a reflection of what these guys have done as much as anything.
Kansas seemed the most businesslike Wednesday. In Purdue, they faced the top seed with the top dog, the big dog, Glenn Robinson. The Boilermakers must feel like Kansas did in '88, when all the talk then centered on Danny Manning.
He's a very talented athlete. He runs the floor well. He jumps very high. He's used the ball in and outside on the court, and he's just a great athlete. Glenn Robinson is one of a kind. Like Coach Williams said, he's probably the best athlete that came through college basketball in the last 3 or 4 years. You can't compare him to anybody.
When it's all said and done, many believe it is Robinson who will leave his signature on this 1994 tournament. Let's go to the West Regional and Shelley Smith.
Thanks, Steve. Here in the West, everything has gone as expected with the top 4 seeds remaining. And while Louisville coach Denny Crum is pursuing his 3rd national championship, his 3 cohorts are still trying to live with the stigma of embarrassing first-round tournament defeats. In 1990, Norm Stewart's 3rd-seeded Missouri team lost to 14th-seeded Northern Iowa. In 1991, Jim Boeheim and the 2nd-seeded Orangemen fell to 15th-seeded Richmond. And last year, Lute Olson and 2nd-seeded Arizona were stunned by 15th-seeded Santa Clara. Defeats that have taken their toll.
It's not been a real pleasant year, but it's great now. The guys have played well, and I would hope that they will judge this team on this year.
They're ahead of the game in the tournament, so they probably don't have much feeling about the past record. They probably say, hey, that's coach's problem.
The tournament's the worst, probably, assessment of coaches. You know, the best assessment of a coach is how he does game in and game out, week in and week out, year in and year out, not what happens in any given tournament.
Easy for Denny to say. He's walking around with 2 championship rings. In Los Angeles, I'm Shelley Smith, ESPN.
Shelley and Steve, thank you. The man Robinson compared most to for his college feats, Danny Manning. Danny now a pro and with the Hawks, and it's been 30 days since the trade, so it's time for a 1-month tune-up. Now, if Steve and I were on ethical mechanics, we'd fool around with a couple of plugs and hoses, charge an arm and a leg, and get caught by Diane Sawyer. We're better than that. this thing runs smooth. 10-3 since Danny showed up, and the Hawks have just what the Hornets want, a chance to clinch a playoff spot. Steve and I mechanics in our other life. This is Danny Manning. Had only 2 assists. Willis had a game-high 32, and the Hawks are up 8 at the half. Alonzo, a one-man show. Finishing strong, 25 and 42 minutes, and then Muggsy tries to create. He scored 16, but not on that play. Blaylock, the block, also scored 18. Willis then tips it into his own bucket. But when you're up, you can laugh a little bit. Ogman adds 20. The Hawks win, the first team from the East to clinch. You want to hop on the Hawks bandwagon? Willis says there's room. It shows all the disbelievers that if they want to, they can jump on. Not bad for a team picked to finish in the middle of the pack, said Coach Wilkins. The Cavs and the pacemakers looking for a pulse after Tuesday's 61-point effort. Look at Antonio Davis had 10. Pacers by 1 with 16 seconds left. Cavs have an answer. The answer's Mark Price. The bank. Cavs up 1, 77-76. Final seconds. No timeouts. Gerald Wilkins put, and the game winner from Dale Davis. Wilkins wants a foul, forget it. Fratello, he wants a foul, forget it. Pretty good finish to an otherwise ugly game, and you think I'm making that up? Larry Brown's Team 1 said this was a terrible game. We won. Terrible, yes, Larry, but 78 points beat 61 any night. Rough night for Rod Higgins. Bobby Phills and Chris Mills combined 1 for 18. Speaking of rough, the Sixers have lost 20 of 21. Dana Barrow said, I feel like I'm lost in space. My mind is up there, and I'm trying to find it. Danger. Will Rogers. When we come back, it's off to the sun and fun of spring training. Big Jose Canseco. Mixing a little baseball with a little fishing. We'll be right back.
At King, we give you more good reasons to buy from us. Reason number 1, selection. King always has over 150 new Chevy and Geo cars, trucks, and vans, and always has over 100 good, clean, used vehicles. Reason number 2, service. You can count on King to treat you right during and after the sale, and will offer you top dollar for your trade-in. Reason 3, price. King will offer you the best price possible on your new or used car or truck. Selection, service, price. We give you more good reasons to buy from us. The Ohio Valley's #1 Chevy Geo Mitsubishi dealer. King Chevrolet Geo Mitsubishi, downtown Wheeling.
Ohio State Representative Greg DiDonato is the only experienced choice for U.S. Congress. DiDonato is the only candidate to ever hold an elected office. DiDonato's record and experience cannot be matched.
I bring commitment, experience, and responsibility to the 18th District, and with your help, we can take that same approach to Congress.
State Representative Greg DiDonato for U.S. Congress. Responsible and experienced leadership with a common sense approach to government.
Here, 64 teams with the same dream. The women's road to the Final Four. Watch the regional finals Saturday, only on ESPN.
Martina Navratilova, a loser at the Slims of Houston. She had tears in her eyes, beaten by Bettina Fulco-Villela, who also had tears in her eyes. She had just beaten her idol. As you can see, Martina, not the only one to be upset. Now, the Boston Bruins have gone into a rope-a-dope act, backed into a corner and covering up, already bloodied from the loss of Cam Neely for the rest of the year. Now they deal with the loss of Ray Bourque for at least the rest of the regular season. A sprained medial collateral ligament in his right knee. He could return for the playoffs. Oilers, Rangers, or are they the Rangers and Oilers? Off a night of hockey history, Adam Graves, the former Oiler, trying to make his own. That is goal number 50, tying the Rangers' single-season record. That record, and this makes you feel old. Vic Hatfield, black and white, 71-72. Now back to the present, and Graves is working around the net where he does his best work. 51, a team record. Gretzky, a record. Graves, a record. Noonan also had his first Ranger goal. Tikkanen, Messier, Anderson, they haunt their old team with assists. The only former Oiler turned Ranger that was a non-factor was Craig McTavish. With a win in Winnipeg, the Habs take over first in the Northeast, and that's Ron Tugnutt. Filling in for Patrick Roy. Manson, Emerson, past Tugnutt. His 28th, 1-0 Jets. They scored early in the period. They scored late. John LeBlanc. Somehow the backhand finds the back of the net. 2-0 Jets through 2. Canadians then get a break in the third. Watch Brian Bellows' shot. Off Shannon's stick, then off Lyle Odeline. Past Cheveldae, give Odeline the goal. That was about all they were going to get off Cheveldae. Cheveldae, the backstop. Faced 40 shots, had the crowd screaming, Chevy, Chevy. It ends the Habs' 11-game unbeaten streak. Steve?
Well, on the same day Joe Carter was injured, another slugger continues to try and return from injury. Jose Canseco of the Texas Rangers trying to complete the circle from superstar to thoughts of suicide back to superstar. He continues to pound the ball. Rangers and Red Sox. Canseco homers off Jeff Russell. 2 on the day. 5 for the spring. This one into the drink. I guess you could say he got the good part of the bat on it. Somebody tell that guy you can buy a baseball for about $3. Although, nice form on the backstroke there. It ended in a 7-7 tie. Both clubs agreed to end it when they ran out of pitchers. The rest of your balls and strikes.
Staples, we guarantee no one anywhere can beat our prices on office supplies or equipment. Staples, 30 to 70% savings on the office supplies you need every day. Staples, where delivery is free on any telephone order over $50. Staples, call for a free catalog or visit the Office Superstore. Why go anywhere else?
The new Ram pickup features a frame design so strong, it's been patented. Its available rear step bumper can pull 5,000 pounds by itself without the help of that frame. And the tie-downs in back are so strong, they can support the weight of the entire truck. We overbuilt this pickup because we were sure you'd never underwork it. New Dodge Ram, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year.
Every 2 minutes, someone in this country gets inside information about rotisserie baseball. Do not be a victim. Use the bat. Well, not the bat, really, but use the great rotisserie pay-per-view special. Peter Gammons, Bill James, Alan Simpson, and a peck of experts, even me, Captain Keith Olbermann. Remember, in rotisserie, knowledge is power. If you don't watch this show, somebody else in your league will.
Call your cable company now to order this great pay-per-view event.
On the ice, Panthers and Leafs, one of those neutral site deals from Hamilton, Ontario. Mike Gartner making his debut for Toronto, cut his number in half to 11, then cuts Gord Murphy in half. First period, Scott Mellenby down the wing. The perfect pass is Stu Barnes, who tips it into the net, 1-0 Florida. And look, there's Ken Linsman. Actually, that was his nickname, the Rat, in case you didn't pick that up. In the third, Gartner the pass, pick up his first Leaf assist. The feed to Doug Gilmour knows how to score. And the game would end in a 1-1 tie. Both clubs going with their backup goaltenders for this one. The Panthers' point gives them a 4-point edge over the Idle Isles and Flyers in the battle for the final playoff spot in the East. 3 games in 5 nights for the Blues, and it's just not a problem. Buffalo, the best home power play in the league. They go 1 for 7 with the man advantage. The Blues only had 18 shots on goal, but it was good enough to win. Bob Essens are now 0-4 as a Red Wing. I want to put a hold on that trade. We show you how well Tim Cheveldae's been playing. The Senators outshot 41-15. Not only win, but they came back from a 2-goal deficit. Well, just around the commercial corner, it's Did You Know time. And this is just one man's opinion, but this is a great one.
Hoosier fans, there's nothing like the tradition and glory of Indiana basketball.
Play 20 minutes of basketball our way.
Now, you can relive all of IU's greatest moments in Hoosiers Hoops, a fantastic new video from Sports Illustrated. Plus, you'll also get an authentic Indiana team hat. And best of all, both gifts are absolutely free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated.
Indiana wins it.
Hoosiers Hoops captures the most memorable moments in IU basketball history.
Indiana wins the championship.
From Branch to Bobby, you'll see all of IU's championships like you've never seen them before. Call now and get Hoosiers Hoops, plus your Indiana team hat, along with 54 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the swimsuit issue, for only $1.39 an issue. Save over 52% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Nobody plays basketball like the Hoosiers, and there's nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Coming up tonight, the season opener of baseball tonight. Chris Myers on the hill. He's the starter, getting bullpen help from Jim Cott. If you want to be in the know, just refer to it as BBTN, 10:30 Eastern Time. Well, last night, just a huge night for Wayne Gretzky and a good month for Wayne. His march towards Gordy's greatness is now complete.
Did you know, and there's no way you possibly could have known, that prior to last night's game, Gretzky had scored on every single day in the month of March except March 23rd. So you can now scratch that off the list. He has now done it all. Amazing. When you think about Gretzky, I think of him first as a passer and then a goal scorer, but he's got all the records.
Like the Larry Bird of basketball. In fact, he's got now 61 NHL records.
That's simply amazing. Coming up, all of your Gretzky highlights and post-game reactions.
Also, the night from the NBA, and despite the fact there was no NCAA, there was some NIT. Steve and I are coming right back.